A big wingman, welcome to the wingman's path, to positivity, to raising your vibration, and to creating a life of your choosing. I welcome you and I thank you, and as always, I appreciate you being here with me and inviting me and all my wingmates in to share a spark of positive energy with you, so that all of us, it becomes that much easier for each of us, right? To bring more positive energy into our lives and to start raising our vibration, which of course always helps us move in the direction of creating a life of our choosing. If you're new, my name is Michael Gross. I am the wingman. I'm the lucky guy who gets to be the wingman on this edition of the Wingman's Path to Positivity, and I am coming to you today. I am back in Hobart, Tasmania, and it's about to be a start of the fabulous 4-day wooden boat festival. There's supposed to be about 500 different wooden boats. You can see a few of them behind me right here. There's going to be about 500 of them, and it celebrates the maritime culture and craftsmanship and all that goes with that. And somehow, as soon as I saw these boats, it was very funny because somehow it popped into my mind something a statistics professor said to me. I don't know, it had to be 40 years ago, right? And he said, don't you think at one time when Christopher Columbus was out sailing, and trying to find, I believe he went out, the reason Christopher Columbus went exploring, he was looking for a direct route from Europe to Asia, and of course, supposedly found the Americas, but we'll get into that another time, right? My statistics professor said at one time, don't you think he was standing on the top of the deck by himself and had a thought that they just can't make it. They're not going to make it. And it got me thinking about my thoughts and your thoughts, and how many times we have a thought pop into our head that's a negative thought, that doesn't serve us well, that beats the hell out of us, that knocks us down, that rocks our boat, so to speak. That rocks our boat, right? Just because you think it doesn't make it true. Just because you think a thought doesn't make it true, right? Oftentimes a thought's going to pop in your head. I can't lose weight. I can't get a better job. I'm not lovable. I can't have a relationship. I can't make any money. Whatever your thought is, I'm a loser. How about that one? You ever think that one? I know that's popped up in my head at times, and I'll tell you something. You don't get to be the wingman on the wingman's path to positivity without facing your share of disappointments and failures and what Joseph Campbell would call your hero's journey. Well, I can tell you how many times, or I can't tell you how many times, but I can tell you I've had plenty of thoughts, negative thoughts that did not serve me well, and I allowed to fester. And you know what happens with thoughts, right? I believe it was Daniel Amen. If you don't know who he is, Google him. He's a brain scan specialist. He's brilliant. Who talks about, he uses the acronym ANTS, automatic negative thoughts. And he compares them to ants at a barbecue, where you get one negative thought in your head, or you see one ant at your barbecue, right? You see one ant at your picnic, and all of a sudden you see hundreds of them all over the place, right? He compares your negative thoughts to them. Now, you get a negative thought, man, and it gets in your head, and all of a sudden they multiply, baby. They multiply. You got to stop it quickly. You got to stop those thoughts, and I know I do, and that's just what today's practice is doing for me today. I want you to say it with me. Just because I think it doesn't make it true, right? Just say it with me. Just because I think it doesn't make it true. What I have found for me is whenever I get a negative thought in my head, I often say those words. Just because I think it doesn't make it true, right? Say it again. You want to get this one right into your subconscious as quickly as you can. I assure you of that. Because as soon as a negative thought pops in your head, you want this to be the next thought. Just because I think it doesn't make it true. And you want to force that negative thought out by coming up with a more positive thought around that. Anything you can come up with to change that thought, because as Daniel Amen says, Dr. Daniel Amen will say, it'll be like ants at a barbecue, baby. Those automatic negative thoughts, they just multiply on you if you'll allow them to fester. So join me and say it one more time with me, will you? Just because I think it doesn't make it true. And remember how many people must have been on wooden boats like these, right? And out sailing and had the thought that they couldn't make it, or when they were building the boat, they didn't think they could make it. But they forced those thoughts out of their head and brought in much better thoughts, thoughts that can help them, that can serve them better. And you can do the same thing with your everyday life right now. Whatever is going on in your life right now, I don't care how negative it is or what's beating you up. A thought pops in your head, I want you to change it immediately. I want you to change it if it's a negative thought immediately and eliminate, bring some ant spray or something to get rid of those automatic negative thoughts. One more time with me. Just because I think it doesn't make it true. I thank you so much for joining me here today from the Hobart Wooden Boat Festival, right here in Hobart, Tasmania. I thank you. Have a wonderful day, one in which anytime a negative thought pops in your head, you immediately think, just because I think it doesn't make it true. And you eliminate that thought and move on to better thoughts. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Your Wingman Michael from the Wingman's Path to Positivity here in Hobart, Tasmania, signing off.